Now, the classic Darvas method was founded on observation of what worked. Like I said, Darvas, he trusted other people, and he was open-minded to try different things. But where he wound up finding his success was in observing what worked and studying it. And again, his success was based on much more than simply his boxes and the method itself. His rules and the way that he adhered to those rules is really what made the whole system work. And again, he was human. He recognized that. It's not like he was born with an iron discipline that nobody else has. He was just smart enough to realize that, hey, if I understand that this is going to present an influence that's going to mess me up, I'll put something in place to block that. And as far as rules in general like that, it's just when he recognized something and he knew that it was a human frailty of his own, he took action to help him stick to his rules and with his patience and his discipline. He also removed himself physically from the environment and his broker's office and everything so that he could stay emotionally detached from his trades, because he knew that was really, really important. Now, one of the other real keys to Darvas's success, now granted it was driven by the working conditions that he had. He was traveling the world, and communication was difficult, and his availability during market hours was difficult. So he wound up making use of automatic trades. Now, of course, they were going to be well thought out beforehand, but that let him do two things. First of all, it took care of his timing issue as far as timing his trades, and it also helped with the execution, because if he already put in a buy order or a stop loss order, and it was just there, it's not like he had to wait for the moment and then do it. He did it when he was in the planning stage, and that was really important because that's when he had his mind clear. He already, he thought the whole trade through, and so he was putting those things in place. He was making the decisions before he entered the trade, but he was putting the mechanism in place to carry out those decisions, and that was really, really instrumental in his success. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the classic Darvas method as he traded it back in the 50s when he made all his money. The classic Darvas method is not purely applicable in today's markets, and we will talk about the considerations and what to do as far as using the Darvas method in today's world. But right now we're going to take a look at the classic Darvas method, and so that you can understand where it all came from and why it works, the reasoning behind it, the whys. And again, Darvas came upon this, again, almost by chance, because he had been trying a lot of different things and it wasn't working, and he had a success, and he had absolutely no reason why that success was sitting in his lap. So he paid attention, though, and that was really smart. And so what he did was he took a look at the one stock that had performed well for him when all the rest of them had broken down, the ones that he paid a lot of attention to. And what he did was he observed and he studied the price behavior of certain stocks. And this is where things really, really get good and got great for Darvas. And what he observed was that these particular stocks that he was looking at that did well, was he saw that they showed a specific behavior, a price behavior, following a 52-week high. And that price would continue to climb in steps and continue to climb all the way up until the time that the trend eventually collapsed. Now, he reasoned that those steps indicated valid support for each rise in price. And this is really important because he didn't want to just pick highs. That's how a lot of people become very short-term traders, because they get in at the high and it's not a continuing trend, and they get in at the high and immediately the price drops. So what Darvas was looking for was these steps, these blocks, where they gave some validation, some valid support for the rise in the price up to the 52-week high. And then he sought to determine a way so where he could define those steps in a repeatable and reliable manner. Again, he wanted something that he could rely on. And this was really important. He didn't want to go on hope. He didn't want to go on faith or wish or any of that kind of stuff. He wanted something that's like, I know it works. So he wound up developing these boxes. And the purpose of the boxes is because he didn't have some of these other things that we have nowadays. He didn't have the luxury of Fibonacci numbers as far as finding support and resistance points and swing trading, or a lot of the other methods that have been developed since his time. I mean, he didn't even have a calculator or a computer. So he looked for a way to determine the support and resistance points of each of those steps, where the price would step up and then it would level off, and then it would step up again later and would level off. And he wanted to be able to define those steps, the support and resistance points. And now, understand, like I said, he didn't have the technology that we do today. He was working with pencil and paper, and what he noticed, what he observed again, is that he could draw boxes around these steps. And this is where it really got cool. Because you can see here, he was just looking at a price chart, but he noticed it's like, okay, here's my 52-week high, and wow, for this range, it's like, yeah, I can draw a pretty clearly defined box around this, and if for this period, it stayed within the box. And then, wow, okay, then it broke out, and wow, a new box formed. And it would happen again, but it would stay within this range, this price range, for a while, and then it would break out of that. But he could draw the boxes around it, and this was really, really key in his whole strategy and thought process.